Hugh, there's been speculation. I don't even think this is reckless. I think it's just speculation this offseason that the Eagles could redo Jalen Hurts' contract, right?
Yes.
They could give him an extension to free up some future money, but that, of course, would add years of commitment to the Eagles and Jalen. It would tie him here longer. As of right now, there's only one more year of guaranteed money, so it's kind of leave it alone and have it be like a prove-it year before we give him another contract, or pay him now and kind of move that money around and free up money. We've debated that, and other people have as well. It's not the first time this has been brought up, but this caught my attention because, Hugh, for the first time, someone has started to speculate, perhaps recklessly, how much money Jalen Hurts would command in an extension. This one, I had to sit down when I heard it. Here is Albert Breer, Jeff McLane, on how much money Jalen Hurts could ask the Eagles for.
How do you view whether they extend him or not as a sign of how they feel about him?
I mean, the problem is like how the price has escalated, and I think once you pay one of these guys at the top of the market, it's really hard to go back to him with a deal for less than that. And now at this point, it's been, I think, how long has it been since Dak Prescott did his contract? I'm going to look that up real quick. So his contract was done 2024. Yeah, so he signed a 4-year, $240 million deal in September of 2024. So that market, so we're talking about, that's 18 months ago now. And like it was at 60 18 months ago, and the cap has escalated big time since then, right? So if Jalen's going to go back to the table, is this 65? Is it 70? What are you asking for?
That sounds about right.
What?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
No.
Yeah.
You mean it right in terms of that's kind of where the next stage of the market is, or that's right on that's what he's worth?
That's probably what he's going to ask for.
Okay.
Well, he can ask.
Yeah.
He'll probably get it.
No.
You kidding me?
Who's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now?
Dak.
Should not be him.
I didn't ask you that.
Okay.
I asked you who was the highest paid.
It's the guy you fantasized about.
That's how we make it personal. It's cool.
It is
we can handle
Dak.
that.
It is Dak. And why am I paying Jalen $10 more million per year than that?
Because Jalen's more decorated than Dak.
Is he better right now?
Right now, no.
Will he be better in the next 5 years?
That's
through the next 5 years. That's why you would pay him.
That's what you asking yourself. That's why you got the brain trust in here. Like, the worst thing that can happen to the Eagles right now is if he decides to ask for money right now. Now, how are you going to slow play it? Do you pay him?
You just say no.
No, you don't just say no.
Sure you do.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
If he asks for $70 million per season, I'm drafting a quarterback pretty early because I know where this is going.
Well, you
70?
You figure out a way to slow play this, and you figure out what you're going to do, if you're going to pay him or not. But he'd be well within his rights to ask for that money. He would be well within his rights.
And I think the Eagles will be well within their rights to say no.
They're not going to say no.
All right, I'm going to make this very clear. If Jalen Hurts requests a contract worth $70 million per season, you think the Eagles will give it to him?
I didn't say they were going to give it to him, but they're not going to tell him no.
But Hugh, this is semantics.
It's not semantics, Joe.
Do you think the Eagles would sign Jalen Hurts to an extension right now worth $70 million per season?
I think if Jalen asked for $70 million, the Eagles would figure out a way to try to stall him out instead of trying to pay him. Now, you're asking me. I'm telling you what I'm saying. They don't want to pay him. They probably don't want to pay him that money.
Well, they'd be crazy
because it's up in the air with everything that's up in the air. What it is. But he's your most decorated quarterback. And if you want to sit here and say Dak is a better quarterback, okay, but Dak took his team to no. How many playoff wins Dak got in his career?
But why would I make him? If the Cowboys shouldn't have paid Dak.
That's the Cowboys. That's not my problem. That's the Cowboys' problem.
But Jalen at 70 becomes my problem.
But Jalen, what has Jalen done? See, this is the thing that you have to understand. I remember when this all happened. Kirk Cousins was the catalyst for all of this. And I will never forget the conversation that we had with Thomas Dimitroff when this happened, because Matt Ryan was up next for his contract. Thomas Dimitroff said verbatim, Kirk Cousins screwed it up for everybody because he got the guaranteed money. Yeah. And this is when, then you had the Deshaun Watsons and all the other cats came behind that. It doesn't matter. See, this is the thing that people don't realize, and you have to realize. Don't matter what Dak did or if Dak's better or not, whatever. Jalen's more accomplished.
But he can ask based on that. For me, his next contract, if he gets one with the Eagles, for me, has zero to do with what he's done here. It's what he's going to do and how you build the potential. How you build the team. Like,
you pay him for the potential.
It's not even the player, Jalen. Is he worth 70 in a cap league? And the answer to me is not even close.
Yes,
not even close. Oh my God, Darnold they won the Super Bowl with Darnold making 30. How is Jalen double that?
Joe, we could sit here and argue till the cows come home what Jalen is or what Jalen can't do. We can argue that.
But that's the point.
But the bottom line is this. Jalen is the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, and Jalen has accomplished a lot.
It has nothing to do with his next deal.
It has everything to do with it, Joe. Why do you think they're sitting there running the numbers the way they're running them?
Aren't we seeing in the NFL that quarterbacks are becoming less valuable in terms of team success?
Not yet.
Yes, we are.
No, you're seeing. No,
the last two seasons, let me tell you what quarterbacks have won Super Bowls.
Let me tell you what you've seen in the last 2 seasons. You've seen recycled dudes for the most part. Recycled dudes. Jalen is home. That's why they paid Jalen after the first Super Bowl.
Well, no, they paid him because they thought he was great.
He had a good year.
They thought he was great.
They paid him because he got the team to the Super Bowl.
They paid him because he took a leap in the second year that looked to project to the future.
This is where you guys don't get it. This is the NFL in a nutshell. You're paying for the potential and what he's going to do. And we sit here all the time.
The potential.
We sit here all the time and talk about what Jalen could be and what Jalen's already accomplished more in 5 years than most have accomplished in 10.
That's fine. I would question Howie Roseman's claim on the job if he gave him $70 million per season.
That's his last 5 years, not his next.
It'd be insane.
Like I said,
insane.
He would be well within his rights to ask for that. Now,
anyone could ask for whatever they want.
Okay,
I'm just worried about the Eagles.
I can ask WIP for that.
The Eagles have to make the decision.
The fact that y'all outraged, y'all. Let me.
It's a ridiculous number for him.
But he can ask for. He can ask.
I'm not giving it to him.
Okay, what are you going to do?
Get a new quarterback. I would get a replacement.
You're going to tell him no right now.
Yes.
See, this is where you got to start paying attention to what's being said. This is why people feel like Jalen has his team over a barrel.
But stop it.
Because you can't stop it. The train's already left the station.
What are you talking about? The Eagles are a franchise. He's one player.
If he has him over a barrel now, imagine giving him $70 million a year.
That's why
that's over a barrel.
That's why you hope he don't ask for it this year. You hoping he's not asking for it. But if he does ask for it, then you're trying to slow play this as best you possibly can.
There is no shot they're going to give him $70 million a season.
There's a shot.
No shot.
I have vision, and I'm seeing what the NFL looks like. It's what it's turning into.
I'm trying to
Do you think he's a $70 million player?
Do I think that Jalen Hurts is a $70 million player? No.
That's it then. That's it.
But
end of
when
story.
you talk about the court, who make more money than Jalen? We got Dak. We got Kirk Cousins.
But you'd be resetting the market to make him number one.
That's not making me feel better.
Kirk Cousins. And he's better than all them cats I just named. They're not making as much money as them.
Why am I paying him more than he's worth? Because of Kirk Cousins.
That's the nature of the beast.
No, that's how dumb teams operate.
Yeah, you're giving me tales of
contracts
that ended up hurting Minnesota.
No,
be mad at Minnesota started this.
Here's
why does their mistake have to become mine?
Because that's the market.
No, it doesn't.
That's the market.
But wait a second.
Ridiculous.
There's also
it's the fact. It's a fact.
But there's also a marketplace, the draft, to get cheap talent. You say this all the time with players.
It is, but not that position.
Yes, it is. How did Jalen get here?
Joe, we can't see. This is where we can't have it both ways. We can't have the Eagles do a great job of picking young quarterbacks, and then when you get one, you don't want to pay him because you go find another.
Well, time out.
No.
If he's great, then that's a different story.
I think you're missing it. No one said don't pay Jalen when he was good and young. That would be his second contract. I'm cool with drafting a quarterback.
He's still a relevant quarterback. Like, you're not going to want to hear this.
$70 million.
You're not. Nobody's going to want to hear this. But here's the fact of the matter: Jalen threw for more yards this year. It's a fact, Joe.
He stunk most of the year.
You're right. But the fact of the matter is, Jalen threw for more yards, and if I'm not mistaken, more touchdowns this year than he did last year.
So the offense must have been pretty good then.
Kyle. We can argue semantics all day long, but that's it. You got to understand what I'm trying to tell you. That his agent's job is to get him more money,
I
correct?
don't care about his agent.
I don't care. That doesn't matter.
Regardless of how y'all we want to talk about the season, his numbers were better this year than they were last.
But Hugh, it's not. But Hugh, it's not fully fair to say one stat describes the season.
No.
He was worse in most of his stats.
Okay, Joe, but
we have to be fair
his
about
agent, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're being fair about, but what I'm trying to tell you how it's going to go. If his agent goes in there and asks for more money, he would be well within his rights because they're going to say, "Well, he
so
threw."
wonderful.
We
just
agree
trying to
with
tell
We
you
are
how
also
it's
within
going.
our rights to say, get the hell out of here.
And that's why
Yes.
you're not going to say that. You're going to try to slow play this as much as you possibly can.
Well, like, sure. I mean, you don't want it to be a
You don't want to piss him
negotiation
off.
where it's right.
You don't want to
Like,
make him mad.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
like to
But it
sit
feels
here
like
and say,
y'all mad at me for telling y'all.
well, we are.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
I just
you're
wanted
very,
you to
very
say,
annoying.
no way, $70 million.
No, I'm telling you.
$70 million.
He would ask for that, and you would hope that there would be some way that we could slow play this.
I'm telling you, I would question Roseman's sanity.
If you're
No,
Howie
you wouldn't.
Hugh and he asks for $70 million, what are you saying to him immediately?
I'm gonna say, hey,
Yeah, okay, so that's a
man.
no.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
a yes,
No, it's
so
not.
it's a
no.
no.
You're nice
It's a
BS,
slow-
and
it's
we're
a-
more direct BS.
Because you can't directly BS the guy. He's got you over a barrel.
How?
Jalen say, okay, all right, then I'm not playing
what
this
is
year.
I try over a barrel.
I know
What
he's
is
not going to do that.
What
but
is he going to
still.
do?
You want to keep your quarterback happy. This whole exercise, this whole thing
How about my happiness? I watched four quarters this year without a pass completed.
What about putting the
this
best roster out there?
The fact that we're talking about trading AJ and doing things a different way is to keep this quarterback happy. But then we're going to turn right back around and make him mad by telling him no when he asks for some more money. If he asks,
but then where's the line? What if he asks for 100? What if he asks 100?
They're gonna try to.
Why
keep
not
it
120?
realistic.
Hugh says
But
we can't make him unhappy. If I'm his agent, listen, I'm like, I want Douglas on our payroll. Let's ask for $150 million.
Why y'all making this about me? I'm just telling you how it's gonna go. If he asks for $70 million, Joe, they're gonna have to figure out a way to either slow play this or pay the man. Is that those only two options you got? Those are the only two options that you have.
That's not true.
I know you don't like them.
You have
but
another
it's
option.
the truth. What's the third?
Draft a quarterback.
Okay, you draft the quarterback, and if he don't work out, then what?
Well, but why
They're probably draft the quarterback, but what if he don't work out?
Why are we assuming it won't work out? Every time the Eagles draft a quarterback, it seems to
See,
work out.
that's what I'm saying. We can't have it both ways. We can't assume. Like you're talking
Sure
about,
can.
you found a
They're good at
quarterback. You found a diamond in the rough,
Well,
which we all agree that it's hard to find a quarterback.
Yeah.
Do we agree with that?
Yeah, sure.
And it's for all Jalen flaws.
It's hard to find an elite quarterback, but it's
Okay,
not hard to find a
for
quarterback you can win a Super Bowl
For all
with.
Jalen flaws, he won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So he would be well within his rights to ask for $70
Sure,
million.
but what you're saying is a flawed quarterback can win a Super Bowl, or you can win a Super Bowl with a quarterback that's not elite. That's
But
clear.
but
so why am I paying elite money for a guy who's not
because
elite?
he's already taking you to two. He's taking.
I don't
regardless of how he
care
got
about
there.
where he's taking us.
But
That's not
that's what I'm saying. That's what
not
you're
why
paying
you
for.
pay a guy.
Kyle,
But is it-
He's already got you there. You know he can get you there.
Well, hold on.
So why wouldn't you
No,
pay
you know
him?
we can get there with him.
Isn't it very fair to say
He got you there.
Isn't it very fair to say a lot of the reason why the Eagles got there twice with Jalen is all the talent around him?
Yes.
$70 million means I'm ready for this. If we give Jalen $70 million, say goodbye to Cooper DeJean. We give him $70 million, say goodbye to an offensive lineman.
That is the nature of the beast.
But wait, it doesn't have to be.
Why do you think?
It doesn't have to be.
Why do you think I'm about to say the Patriots, Kansas City Chiefs getting rid of corner?
Yes, but that quarterback's so good he uplifts everybody.
And we
don't have that.
But listen, and we sat here and talk about how Jalen outplayed him twice, right?
Yeah, but he's better than Jalen.
But the point is, okay, if he's better than Jalen in that moment, then why not give Jalen $70 million?
How do they get to the Super Bowl losing
What
all
do
these
you mean?
players?
What? How is that? How is that? How are you missing the point? When we sit here and say, okay, who's a better quarterback? Tom Brady or Eli Manning?
Tom Brady.
Eli Manning beat him twice.
Awesome.
So that's the point that I'm making. He beat him twice.
But why would
Nobody would
Jalen's
ever make the point that Eli Manning is worth more than Tom Brady.
But the point is, I just made my point.
No, well, you lost it by comparing Eli and Tom Brady.
We sat here all the time and we talk about how I never said he was what's his name, Patrick Mahomes, but he beat him twice. He almost beat him twice.
How did he
and
get to the
outplayed
game?
him twice.
But how did he get there to play him? Because the team around him was so loaded.
The position commands that he gets that money. He's not going to take a pay cut because we don't like the way he look or he can't throw for this amount of yards or whatever. He's better than Dak Prescott because he's done more in this game than Dak Prescott.
Well, all right. Fine.
So Dak is the highest paid quarterback. But what has Dak done? That's why. See, this is the.
But I don't want the
it.
Eagles to make a mistake because the Cowboys did. It's not
the
important
nature,
to me.
It's the nature of the beast.
I think it is. We'll end at this. We'll go back to the phone lines. I think it is exceedingly more likely that if the number is 65 or 70 million, that the Eagles will replace him. I think the Eagles will not do that.
I think the Eagles right now want to be. If he asks for that money now, Joe, that kind of throws everything in a tizzy.
Yeah.
To your point.
Well, of course it does.
But if we get to this season and say we haven't had the draft and all this other stuff, because they might draft a quarterback. If we get to the season and it looks a certain way, then that might be more feasible. But right now would not be a good time for Jalen if he asked for some money. That would be a not good time.
It's just a non-starter for me. And I'll give you an example of a team that did something similar. And Hugh, you say it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy to find a quarterback. But I think the 49ers were in this position a few years ago. The 49ers, Jimmy G was good. Jimmy G was a good quarterback. They went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. But he was getting to a point where he was declining and he was getting expensive, and they were able to keep all their players for an extra few years because they pivoted to a cheap quarterback. They tried with Lance, it failed, but they stumbled into Brock. But it was the same thing. They were trying to find someone cheaper than Garoppolo.
You got to find them.
Well, they did, but they tried. They took 2 shots at it.
Yeah.
They failed with Lance. They got it with Purdy. The point is, if they had paid Jimmy G more money because he took him to a Super Bowl, they would have lost. They wouldn't have got Christian McCaffrey. They probably would have lost Debo earlier. They probably would have lost Kittle. They realized, let's keep this team around, change the quarterback to something cheaper. I think the Eagles will do if it gets to the point of it's 60 or 70, I think the Eagles will do the same thing to Jalen. They will replace him because he doesn't provide that much value to me.
It all depends on when they ask. Because, like I said, if he's asking right now, then you're in a pickle. You're in a little bit of a pickle.
I don't really think they are.
Well, what are you gonna do? Tell him no? You don't want to. Like we
Yes.
sat here. No, you don't tell him no. You gonna tell him, hey, can we talk about this at a later
Hugh, that's
date?
really just a different no. I mean,
it's not a different no. It's like when you tell your kids, hey, we want to go out and they say, for instance, you want a puppy. Say, hey, we'll have that conversation at a later date.
Right.
It's not saying no. It's just you'll have it at a later date.
Well, but Hugh, if the kids want a puppy, there's either a puppy in the house or there's not. If he wants $70 million, there's either
it just all
$70
depends
million.
on when you're getting the puppy, though. You can still get the puppy. You could wait to get the puppy. You might want to get the puppy in the summertime, or you might want to get a puppy that comes from a special litter or whatever.
Or we're not getting a puppy.
Yeah, it all depends. But he would be well within his rights to ask for that money. I know that y'all don't want to hear that.
For the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Drunk uncle at the barbecue. You don't want to hear it, but it is what it is. Man.
No, I'm more worried about what Howie does. I know Jalen could ask for whatever he wants. So that's pro sports.
I love the fact that we're so emotional on a Friday.
Well, it's just ridiculous the idea that they would do this. Like it just.
I think that they would have to have that conversation. You can't shut that conversation down.
I just did.
Of course you did, because you're being stubborn right now. You're being super
I don't
stubborn.
actually think it's stubborn.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's stubborn to say Jalen's not worth $70 million?
Yes, because I would say that he probably is. I would say he's. Let me say this, okay? Because I feel like in this conversation, the $70 million is really what's getting your ire
per year.
He deserves a pay raise
based on last season. He deserves a pay cut based on last season. We're losing it now. A pay raise?
And listen, these are not my truths.
Why are you saying them?
Because that's the nature of the. I keep telling you, it's the nature of the beast.
But that's not true.
It is true.
But it's not. Hassan Reddick was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
We ain't talking about the same kind of caliber player.
No,
we ain't talking about the same. No,
hold on.
Different.
He had one great year.
Yes.
And he had a contract that he thought he had outplayed. He asked for money. They got him out and went with young guys. It's the same thing.
No, it's not, because he's not quarterback.
To me, it doesn't matter.
I understand.
To me, players are dollars and cents and cap room.
I understand.
I can't pay him anymore.
You, it don't matter.
It's outrageous.
But that position is coveted. It is. It is what it is, man. And it's not going to change.